Hi, everybody. It's Chris Hillman here. Welcome to my house. And I have my two best friends here with me, Herb Peterson and John Jorgensen. We're going to play a few songs for you today. And then you get so excited you're going to buy 29 books each. I know you are. Here's a song I used to do with the Golden State Boys, also known as the Hillman. It's called Fare Thee Well. It's a Bob Dylan song. Herbert. On highway going west, I'm traveling on that path. Oh, it's fare thee well, my own true love. We'll meet another day, another time. It ain't believing that's grieving me. My true love is bound to stay behind. Johnny. Somebody else's for my home. My hands in my pocket, my coat collar high. I will have oh, it's fare thee well, my own true love. We'll meet another day, another time. It ain't believing that's grieving me. My true love is bound to stay behind. We haven't played live in
100 years.
100 years. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody. So here we are, and I'm going to play a song from each band. Hopefully, I will play a song from each band I was in. And that was Fare Thee Well. Bob Dylan wrote that early 60s, and the Golden State Boys cut it on an album called The Hillman. That's another story. You can read that in the book. Read all about the Hillman in the book. So we're going to do a song. The title of this book I just wrote is called Time Between, which was one of the first songs I ever wrote back in 1967. And we're going to have Time Between for you right now from the Byrds. And John's going to kick it off as soon as I get the right key. He's in B flat, ladies and gentlemen, but not anymore.
Okay. The title? Here we go.
It's called Time Between, Johnny. Oh, don't say you love me. Don't say you care. You're so far away. Telephone communication only a free inhalation when I hear your voice. Your love and trust, it's going to work out fine. The only thing I feel is all this time between. I can hear your voice at night. I can read the words you write, and it's all in love. Your love and trust, it's gonna work out fine. The only pain I feel is all this time between you and me. You and me. Now don't say you love me, don't say you care, you're so far away. I can hear your voice at night, I can read the words you write. It's on your love and trust, it's gonna work out fine. The only thing I feel is all this time between you and me. You better take another one now. Your love and trust, it's gonna work out fine. The only thing I feel is all this time between you and me. You and me. You and me. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone out there watching today. I'm so glad you're here with us. I know you're here. I feel you. I feel your presence. So we're going to do a couple more songs for you. We'll talk about books and all kinds of wonderful things. Gram Parsons and I wrote this song in 1969. We wrote about Los Angeles then, and I think a lot of you know it. And we sort of captured exactly what was going on in Los Angeles back in 1969 as far as culturally, cultural situations and Vietnam War and all kinds of things. I think that's in the book, don't you?
I believe it is.
Okay. So we're going to do, I know, I'm going to play enough. I think can I play man?
Yes, please.
You're so good, I hate to bother you.
Not about.
So, Graham and I put this together in 69. Goes like this, Sin City. This old town, filled with sin, it'll swallow you if we've got some money to burn. Take it home right away. You've got 3 years to pay, and this Satan is waiting his turn. This old earthquake's gonna leave me in the poorhouse. It seems like this old town's insane. On the 31st floor, a gold-plated door won't keep out the Lord's burning rain. Try to say it'll all wash away if we don't believe anymore. All we've got our recruits and our rainbow hair suits. Please show your ID and go. This old earthquake's gonna leave me in the poorhouse. It seems like this whole town's insane. On the 31st floor, a gold-plated door won't keep out the Lord's burning rain. Grab my time. crowd, trying to clean up this town. His ideas made some people mad. He trusted his crowd, so he spoke right out loud, and they lost the best friend they had. And this old earthquake's gonna leave me in the poorhouse. It seems like this whole town's insane. On the 31st floor, a gold-plated door won't keep out the Lord's burning rain. On the 31st floor, a gold-plated door won't keep out the Lord's burning rain. Thank you, everybody. There you go. What the heck else are we doing?
What's the
it
next
doesn't
band?
matter. Thank you, John.
Yeah. What was the next band?
What's the next? You know, that was one of Roger's McGuinn's funny questions to me, folks. A couple months back, he says, "How many bands were you in?" I said, I had to think for. I said, 8. He says, "Unbelievable, 8 bands." I said, "Yeah, I never could get along with anybody. Every time I'd go into a band, someone would pass away or something." Anyway, I said, just joking with you folks.
The fourth band?
This is, yes, it's the 4th band. This is a song that Stephen Stills and I wrote called "It Doesn't Matter." It goes something like this. Losing and winning, keeping fighting. Watch you sing. As individual was I was then. I remember you said that you don't want to forget me. It doesn't matter which of our fantasies. Tomorrow, listen today. Run up the past, here comes the catch and make it. You had better not stay, you will soon be surrounded. It doesn't matter which of our fantasies stay.
big jam in the living room.
You know, it's so much fun to play. It's, you know, we haven't done this in so long. I mean,
Yeah.
even together or in our own little entities.
That's right.
I hope this all comes about where we can all see you all in person. And we leave it at that. Let's see now. We're at Manassas. What the heck's going on here? Do you have that list? Anybody?
It's out of my head. No.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's see.
What's the next band?
Well, the next thing I did was Souther-Hillman-Furay. I don't know if we did something from there. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry.
I think we're going to do a Desert Rose Band.
I think that's a great
Yeah.
idea. You know that? And you know what? You're right. It's Desert Rose Band. One step?
Yes.
Darn it. Oh. Gosh darn it. It's hard to get old and can't remember anything. Isn't that right, Bob?
What?
Isn't that right, Bob? Oh, sorry about what? B, correct?
1, 2, 1.
He'll be down, make me crazy, then you throw me around. Where my darkness and my night, where my violence and my sight, where my shelter in the storm, make me cold and you made me warm. You were my fever and my cure, made me down, then you made me sure. One step forward and 2 steps back. Nobody gets too far like that. 1 step forward and 2 steps back. This kind of dance can never last. You were my hope and my cure. You were my sweetness. You were my destiny and my fate. Oh, you kept me from you made me way. You were my weakness and my power. You were the thorn and the flower. You were my sunshine and the rain. Made me feel so good, brought so much pain. Oh, 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Nobody gets too far like that. 1 step forward and 2 steps back. This kind of dance can never last. We were never really meant to last. In the years and the minutes together. For each step forward, we went 2 steps back. For each step forward, we took 2 steps back. Oh, 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Nobody gets too far like that. 1 step forward and 2 steps back. This kind of dance can never last. 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Oh, nobody gets too far like that. 1 step forward and 2 steps back. This kind of dance can never last.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Rock
So,
it.
mind you, I don't think we've ever played that acoustic.
I don't think so.
Well,
Will we ever again?
Huh?
Will we ever again?
Will we ever again?
Yeah.
The last thing the 3 of us did was a few months ago, J2B2 John and Herb's Bluegrass Band, and we played at the Ventura Fairgrounds. And when you finish a song like One Step Forward and you hear car horns honking, it isn't always motivating to do the next song. I'm just kidding. We had a great time playing, because what are you going to do?
It was a driving show. So.
It was
yeah.
driving. Yeah. Here's a song we recorded on the Bidin My Time album called Given All I Can See. We're going to do for you. Was there something else we were going to do? This is it.
No.
Yeah. I think we're ready to go with that. Just to give all I can see.
Should we send this one out to one of the producers of the album?
Yes. There were two.
Yes.
There was an executive producer,
Yes.
Herb Peterson.
Yes.
And Ryan Elaine, who was the engineer producer. Oh, Tom Petty, God bless him, was the producer, executive producer, studio band guy,
T-boy.
Yeah. And we had such a good time making this record, Bidin My Time. A wonderful time. And yes, for Tom always. And here we go. Giving all I can see.
2, 3, 4.
Giving all I can see. Giving all I can feel. Giving all that's before me. It seems so unreal. I pray my heart to be still. If I just lose stand. When evil strikes us low. For those that follow false promises and lies, giving all to survive. So clearly I can see my heart and my soul. Forever I will see the mercy and grace, giving all I can. And all that's high road. I stand alone, hear the trumpets call, seven angels stand before the throne. And a love that's so true, I hold up my hand to the glory that waits each and every man drives the darkness from this land. So clearly I can see my heart and my soul. Forever I will see the mercy and grace. So clearly I can see my heart and my soul. Forever I will see the mercy. Give it all I can see.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to a very musical live signing. I'm Danny Valdez, and the gentleman you've been listening to is one of, if not arguably the primary architect of what's come to be known as country rock. And if you've just tuned in, then you may already know one of the founding fathers of American music, Mr. Chris Hillman, who is here for the live signing of his new book, Time Between, My Life as a Byrd, Burrito Brother, and Beyond. Chris, I've had so much fun listening to you and your friends play this amazing music. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and they are amazing friends. And I must say that John Jorgensen and Herb Peterson and myself, we have managed to maintain such a close bond beyond our time in the Desert Rose Band, which is really over 25 years ago. But we've all kept so much close together, and we work together when we can, and we would be out there now if not for that pesky COVID thing that's going around. But
Sure.
yeah, everything's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm here in Nashville. Have you had a chance to play in Nashville much?
A lot, but not obviously not recently. Yeah,
Sure.
That was on our schedule. But
yeah, I grew up listening to friends in their living room playing very similar music. We called it bluegrass. Do you call it country rock?
No, I call that bluegrass. What you heard, because of the instrumentation, how we treated the songs and arranged them. Okay.
Yeah, I was just curious at how they did things out west. So that it's such a pleasure to hear you guys, and this just again takes me back to when I was young. You know, watching people, just that acoustic experience in living rooms is so magic.
Yeah, it's still wonderful stuff, and I mean, especially now, if any of you out there were thinking of learning to play an instrument, now is your time.
Absolutely.
If you're locked down.
That's right.
Learn how to play an instrument, and God knows I need to keep practicing. I can't remember anything, but I've got such great players to work with. John and Herb, my God, you couldn't ask for two better guys.
I really have been trying to zoom in a little as I'm able on the pictures behind you. Is that family, friends? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, on this side, everyone, is my wife's, the Greek side of the family.
Okay.
There's our wedding picture. And then on this side is my family, more or less. My grandmother was from Texas. My dad was born in Washington, D.C. But
yeah,
Pappas family, Greek. This side, Hillman family. Yeah.
Wow. Very nice. Well, for those of you just tuning in, for the next 30 minutes or so, Chris is going to be answering as many of your questions as possible. A lot of you have already purchased books. And if you have not yet purchased one of his books, you actually still have time to order an autographed copy and submit a question to Chris. Just click over to rarecollectibles.com/Hillman to order your copy. So Chris, tell us, why did you write this book and why now?
Want to make a lot of money, I guess. I don't know. I'm kidding you. I wrote the book because I originally started this project years ago, and it was just to leave something for my kids. And then it was, almost 7 years ago. I didn't have grandkids. Now I do. So I have a wonderful legacy to leave them in print. And then the other part of it, though, I felt the Byrds and the Burrito brothers had such strange stories about those two bands, not the other ones I was in. So I thought, let me clarify this while I was there. I was there, I was an eyewitness. But otherwise, it was a wonderful exercise. I loved doing it. I had no great plans. And of course, after we had gotten it done, the book, and I said to my wife, we need to find an agent. We have to get this published. What are we going to do with this? I got a manuscript, and I happened to meet this wonderful guy, Scott Bomar, who heads up the publishing arm of BMG, and he was interested. And can I read some of it? And I said, absolutely. I sent him some of the book, and he loved it. And he said, we want to publish this. So he had a nice deal, and I got real serious with the book, right? Meaning I rewrote a lot of it, re-edited it. Scott was fantastic editor on this book. Scott Bomar, again, full name status. No, but Scott was such a great editor, where he takes that front section. When you folks get this book, you'll see it opens in such a strange way, and goes backwards after that. So it's great. So and it's all a pleasurable thing, and I got a lot of compliments. I love it. I mean, and Scott, the best compliment I got was when Scott said, when I first read this, I knew we didn't need a co-writer. And that's a big compliment to me.
Wow. Yeah.
A writer, and I don't claim to be Ernest Hemingway or anything, but I can't remember who said it. I think Faulkner said it about Hemingway. You won't need a dictionary to read any of his books. Well, you won't need a dictionary to read my book. I mean, I wrote it as if I was talking to Herb and John on tour. So here's what happened. Started in this band. So
I love that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now there's lots of pictures from your time as well, and that's really cool. So
we saved pictures, and thank God I remembered things, And then after, of course, I started going, I forgot to put so and so in here, or this or that. But I think we got it pretty accurate, everything, especially the Byrds and the Burrito part. We got that fixed up real good.
That's really cool. I think this is special. This book's going to include a certificate of authenticity, which basically means, as you can see right now, Chris is actually signing these books. This isn't a rolled stamp.
Hotcakes. Going like hotcakes. I can't stand. It's going so quick.
he's signing these books in real life. So I want to jump to these questions, but I wonder if you'd entertain a personal question from me before we go to the audience.
I would be glad to.
I'm curious. I have a real affinity for California. I feel like it's such a magical place. I've only been once, and it always calls me back. How has Southern California changed from the time you were growing up till now?
Oh my gosh. Well, actually, all three of us are native Cal. John, you were born in Minnesota,
Wisconsin, but I came here before I was one.
Yeah, so John basically is a native California. Herb and I are natives. Herb grew up in Berkeley. I grew up in San Diego County, born in LA. How has it changed? Herb and I grew up in the 50s, and he was in a city, Berkeley, but it's gotten so crowded now everywhere. Of course, I think every place is crowded, but it's just different. It's different now.
Yeah.
But it's still lovely, and I think it's expensive to live out here, but I think what we're all paying for is the weather, right?
Yeah, right.
All we have fires. Obviously, I've been a great affinity with fires all my life. They're always stalking me, fires and earthquakes. So everyone else, of course, has to deal with tornadoes and floods. Nashville, terrible thing, and all those things happen. But it's a good state. Needs to be straightened out a bit, but hopefully it'll get there again. Maybe not.
Cool. So you ready to dive into some of these audience questions?
Yeah. Let me hear what you got.
Great. So Andrew from Desert Hot Springs, California, says, what was your favorite band to play in?
God, Andrew, they were all fun to play in. There were moments, good moments in all of them. I love the Byrds. I love Manassas, was a great band as far as the musicianship. I thought mcguinn-Clark-Hillman in the late 70s, which is really three guys from the Byrds, was a killer band. It was really a good, tight band. Of course, we had a history of working together back in the 60s. So late 70s was mcguinn-Clark-Hillman. Desert Rose Band probably tops the list as far as the professionalism in that band. We were in the 90th percentile as far as our live shows. And everybody was seriously into doing their job and doing it well. And there was no baggage or strange things that you would associate with a rock group, country group, whatever. It was a great band. Hence, here we still are working together and talking together, and we get along fantastic. Right. We've lost one member, Bill Bryson, who was a wonderful bass player, but he passed away a year or two ago. We were all good.
Michael from Sturbridge, Massachusetts doesn't ask. He says, no questions for Chris. Thanks for all the years of great music, playing and harmonies. I can't pick out a favorite, but I have a weakness for slipping away.
Oh, thanks, Michael. Yeah. That was the first solo album I ever did. I just didn't know how to had never done a solo album, but Slipping Away, I had Russ Kunkel and Lee Sklar on that, and Lee kicks it off on the bass. It's great. When you go do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, bump, and it takes a shuffle. And that song turned out great because of the two players. And I think who else was on it? Was Steve Cropper maybe was on it. I had some good players on it. Thank you.
Let's see, William from Aurora, Colorado. We've been happily following your career since the Byrds and all the other bands and solo configurations. Thanks for all the great music. How did you manage to stay sane?
Seriously, I could be trying to be funny, but I won't. I really believe that my parents were good parents in the way they brought us up. Okay. Not necessarily heavily into a religious faith, Jewish or Christian, but we were brought up to respect one another, to be honest, to work for things, all those things that really what it takes to make good people. So my parents really raised us well, my brother and my two sisters. Yes, I was around some interesting things in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and I did get into a little mischief, but never to the point of detrimental to my career. I did know a lot of people that almost traded their career for more of a hedonistic pursuit. But yeah, I stayed sane. I think it's my parents that helped me to maintain balance in my life.
And you had both.
Having faith in God and a wonderful wife of 41 years. And all those elements helped me immensely.
Did you grow up with both parents?
I did until my dad died when I was 16. But yeah.
Oh wow. Let's see. Wyatt from Leander, Texas, just has a statement here. 8 Miles High was a moment in my life, and it put me on a path to play music seriously. Now in my 60s, I never made it as a pro, but what a ride. And you helped inspire it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You're more than welcome. Let me put it this way. I was very blessed. I was not the greatest player in the world or any of those things. And there certainly were a lot of people out there that were really fantastic. Herb and I were discussing that about sometimes being in the right place at the right time is a very valid thing that happens. And, with me, I was very blessed. I got to do all these things. Yeah.
Jeff from Louisville, Kentucky asked, Chris, would you consider doing one more album with David Crosby and Roger McGuinn involved?
I don't think so. I love them both, but I don't see that happening. I'm in touch with both of them. I love them both dearly, but I don't see doing anything else with them. But you never know. Who knows? More likely I'd be doing something with John and Herb, but we'll see. You never know. I don't know what's going to happen around the corner. None of us do. We're sitting here going, okay, let's get this ball rolling down the street again. You know what I mean? It's just enough for it.
Mark from Owing Mills, Maryland. What band that you have played in came closest to your personal musical vision?
Desert Rose Band. Okay, because as far as John and Herb, and Bill Bryson, the late Bill Bryson, we had such a heavy background in bluegrass. And John and Herb are still active in bluegrass, very much so. But that was the band I felt I had reached the pinnacle of personally of my life. And I had working with wonderful guys, professional, good singers, good players. It was a good band, good band.
Yeah. I have a follow-up to that. Do you have a favorite venue that either you frequented or even just played once?
Oh boy, there's a lot, but it's hard to tell. What was a great venue we played in?
Carnegie Hall.
That's like that works. John says Carnegie Hall, and that was nice to work there in the desert.
Grand Ole Opry.
Grand Ole Opry too, when we worked there a lot. And having had worked at the Opry in 1968 with the Byrds, it was a little different back then. And then we went back in the 80s, and it was really quite nice. Always nice to work at the Opry.
Yeah, on a personal note, I actually got to sub in for a drummer and play the Grand Ole Opry at the Ryman once. And I highlight one of the highlights of my life. So I understand.
Yeah.
Let's see, Delmer from Roanoke, Virginia. What were the influences that brought you to play bluegrass as a teenager?
Well, first time I heard the mandolin was Mike Seeger in the New Lost City Ramblers. And that quickly went into flat. I heard Flat and Scruggs. I loved them, and they really swung. They just, their music just moved. And then Monroe, of course, Bill Monroe, and one of my heroes in high school was the Country Gentleman. When they were on Folkways, they did 2 albums. And John Duffy was a big influence on me as far as his mandolin playing back then. And I listened to the Stanley Brothers too. I love the Stanley Brothers. So all the old bluegrass bands, the old masters, I call them, were greatly influenced me, as I know they did Herb and John here. Yeah.
Joel from Clearwater, Florida. What do you feel is your most important musical accomplishment, or is it yet to come?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I got to work with so many good people, and I thought so far. I think doing the album with Tom was really special, and working with those guys and the Heartbreakers with Herb and John and the Heartbreakers and everybody, that was a pretty special time. But there was so many of them. I can't pick out one really. They were all wonderful things. There were some bad things, but I don't count those anymore. I always count the good ones.
Yeah. Nicholas from Burbank, California. Hi, Chris. This is Nick in LA. My wife and I saw you play with Marty Stewart in 2018 in downtown Los Angeles. What is your favorite memory of recording in Nashville with the Byrds? Thanks so much.
I I thought what we got to work with some great players, Junior Husky, Senior. John Hartford did a lot of work on that album, the Sweetheart of the Rodeo album, as did Lloyd Green, played wonderful steel guitar. Most of it was done in Nashville, and we finished it in LA with J.D. Maness, who became a Desert Rose Band member later on, and some other, Clarence White played on the Sweetheart album. So we had great players, and it was a lot of fun.
Gregory,
They're all a lot of fun. It was all good.
Gregory from Minnesota, do you have a favorite memory from the 60s?
Youth.
Great answer.
And I was young and stupid, but no, I love the 60s. I'll tell you quickly, the 60s were a wonderful time. The music was great. It was idyllic, and it was so great all the way up until 1969. Got a little sketchy there. Charles Manson murders. Some other thing, Altamont, I played there, was horrible. And the best thing about 1969, which I call the end of the 60s, Altamont really was the end of the 60s per se.
Yeah.
But, the moon landing, 1969. That was the saving grace for that entire year, which was so dark and very creepy year with the Charles Manson and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and what do you think shifted when the 70s started from musically speaking?
I think drugs played a big hand in it in the 70s. I think the 70s were one of the most, it was a dangerous decade, and people were doing things they didn't really know what they were doing or what was the result of what they were doing. So that's when cocaine became popular. I saw more people lose money and their health in that particular decade. It took a focus away from what was all beautiful and nice. And the Beatles and everything, the music was fantastic. It's holding up today, 6 decades later.
Yeah. Do you think as things just got more electronic and less acoustic, that started taking music? I mean, obviously it gave musicians, new instruments, if you will, but do you think it got us away from the heart and soul of music?
Oh, probably. It changed a bit. Yes, the electronic stuff, dance music, all that, not necessarily my cup of tea. And I don't understand rap music. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I just don't understand it. It doesn't work. It doesn't quite hit a nerve with me. I guess because it's not really melodic. I guess I don't. But it's just music changes. But then again, there's a lot of young rock bands out there that I'm not aware of that are really good. There was a band Tom was working with called The Shelters. I thought a fantastic band. They really sounded like a 1965 English rock band.
Yeah.
So,
do you have any current artists who are not from the 60s or 70s, but some like a newer artist that you find yourself listening to? Or you love the old stuff?
Say this, but I don't know. I'm not in the loop, so to speak. I can't think of anybody. Somebody asked me a question the other day about who from your past was really that you felt was great and influenced you. I said Tim Hardin, and probably 90% of people didn't know who I was talking about. And Tim Hardin wrote "If I Was a Carpenter," and he wrote so many great songs. He was a wonderful singer, very soulful man.
Yeah,
but I don't know anybody now. I don't really know.
Yeah,
I guess couldn't answer it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Letitia from Stockton, California, and you may have sort of just answered this, but she says, as a songwriter, did you have any muses who inspired your lyrics?
Well, yeah. I mean, gosh, there were some. I had some great teachers, in motivating people. Teachers, I would say. And Gene Clark was a fantastic songwriter and very proficient. He would write maybe 5 songs a week.
Wow.
And 3 of them would be fantastic. I mean, that's how good he was. And he was so lyrical and had such a gift of poetry. And the funny thing is I remember asking David Crosby when we were working on the Tom Petty album, I said, did you ever see Gene reading a book when we were on the road in 1965? He said, no, did you? I said, no. But I said, where did he get those lyrics? They were just beautiful stuff he would write. He was a great writer. Stephen Stills was a great songwriter. Wonderful gift of lyric. And Bernie Taupin and people like that, just fantastic, Right. I mean, I listened and I learned really
Yeah.
by osmosis. I just picked up things from them.
Yeah. Sean from Pennsylvania asks, Renaissance Fair has what is my favorite bass performance of yours from the Byrds. Can you tell us, if you remember, what was your thought process that brought you to the decision to play that extraordinary bass line?
God knows. I mean, I was just on a roll that day. I mean, you know, and I think we cut Renaissance Fair and Everybody's Been Burned, and I just had this. I don't know. I just got this. I had a good day in the studio. And because I mean, when I started playing bass on the first album, it was a little tough because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was really going at it from as a bluegrass guitar player with runs and things. But then I figured out what I was supposed to be doing, and I got a little better at it. I grew in the job. So yeah.
Do you remember about how old you were for that bass line, if you will?
21.
Okay. Yeah.
I got really inspired. It's in the book, folks. You've got to read the part where I did sessions for Hugh Masekela, the South African jazz trumpet player, and it was the most uplifting day I've ever probably had in the studio. And they're all South African players and fantastic.
Wow.
And David Crosby and I played on that session for this lady, Letta Emmylou, is her name. She was, can't remember where she was, but South African lady, really good, yeah.
Wow. And George from New Jersey, how would you describe the musical interaction of Gene Clark and Roger McGuinn?
It's McGuinn. But Roger McGuinn and Gene started out, initially, they started singing together at the Troubadour, it was in LA, folk club. And then David used to be in there playing on Hootenanny Night or Hoot Night, open mic night. And David got to know them, and then they clicked with their singing. David, to this day, still a fantastic singer, but the three of them singing together, when I first heard them, I knew they were going to do something really good. And they had the songs. Gene was writing most of the songs. So when I got a phone call asking me if I could play the bass, I jumped on it because I heard them. I heard what they could be.
Yeah.
And there you have it. Yeah.
Wow. Well, this has been so much fun, and we are out of time with Chris. And to order his limited edition autograph book, go to premiercollectibles.com/Hillman. And to be a part of the live signing experience with more of your favorite authors, follow Premier Collectibles on Instagram or Facebook. Chris, any parting words? Anything else you'd like to say?
Everybody rest, relax. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. And get up off the ground if you've been dealt a bad hand through this COVID stuff. It's very hard, but you can get through this. And be respectful of each other, especially during these times. And I mean this. You love each other. Love everyone. As hard as it is sometimes, love each other and respect each other. And just stand strong. Do not be afraid. God bless you all. God bless all of you. And he will bless you all.
Chris, from all your friends who've tuned in and from us at Premier Collectibles, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for those words at the end. They mean a lot to me, and I know to everyone watching. So take care.
I had a wonderful time. Thank you for having me on as a guest. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.